Hello everybody, today is one of those videos where I will be talking about multiple topics going on all at once, so if you're only interested in one story I'm sharing today, check the description for the chapters, so that way you can go to that specific story of your interest. However, I do hope you stick around for the full video because I love having you here, and I would love to know your thoughts on everything we have to discuss today. So the first thing that I want to talk about today is the teeth filing trend on TikTok. I don't know how many people have heard about this. I physically cringe when I think about this. Basically, what's going on with this trend is that people are taking regular nail files to their teeth. Some people think that their teeth are imperfect and may have ridges or just imperfections that they want to file down, and they take the nail file and file down their teeth.
I'm gonna file my teeth down with a nail file because they are not perfect. I have some ridges and we're balling on a budget. Guys, it's literally working. Wait, let me give myself some vampire teeth now. This is the final product. It's not perfect, but it is significantly better.
And there are so many things that can go wrong when you do this. This is so dangerous for your teeth. And it's also just, you're trying to do this to save money from going to the dentist, but you're just going to end up spending twice as much money repairing the damage you've done to your own teeth. Like, listen, I get it. Dental prices are outrageous. Why do you think my teeth look the way that they do? But even still, this is very obviously not a good alternative by any means. This is something that could be very dangerous for your teeth, and your teeth are something that you have to live with the rest of your life. If you screw them up, they're screwed up permanently, and young kids doing this to their teeth is just horrifying to think about. When you're taking a file to your teeth, you're not filing down the pieces of your teeth to make it straight, you're taking down the enamel, and that's so scary and damaging. And like, this is coming from somebody who has a chipped tooth. Like, yo, I really need to go to a dentist. I'm not even going to lie to you. I have this right here, and it hurts so bad when I eat certain foods. This was an accident. This happened from eating an apple. I don't know how, by the way. It was a while ago, and it significantly got worse, and it gets worse every time I eat certain foods, so I try to avoid them. Doing that on purpose, I cannot imagine what, because this is just one tiny part of my tooth. My God. The next thing I want to discuss is something that I'm very unsure of what the reaction is going to be, because I feel like I have fans of this particular YouTuber who follow me and people who don't like this particular YouTuber who follow me. There's like a mixture of people who do and do not like this person, and anytime I talk about something or somebody that has a cross fan base with mine, it starts a lot of discourse and a lot of anger. And listen, you can like this person, you can dislike this person, that is entirely up to you. I'm just talking about the way I feel about certain things. And that person would be Ethan Klein, H3H3. Listen, there is apparently a lot going on between him and Trisha Paytas, and I know anytime anybody has any criticism for Ethan, they are either a Trisha Paytas fan, or a Keemstar fan, or a fan of anybody else who has beef with Ethan Klein at that particular moment in time. I'm not a fan of Trisha Paytas. I've been very critical of Trisha several times on my channel, and I've briefly mentioned the Ethan and Keemstar thing, I think about a year ago actually. I'm not a huge fangirl of anybody who dislikes Ethan Klein or who is beefing with Ethan Klein. I just need to talk about the fact that I've been very disappointed in the way that Ethan has been lately, for actually over a year or so at this point. This is coming from somebody who used to be a genuine fan of H3H3, back when they used to make YouTube videos and they used to do skits and all of these other types of comedic videos where they would roast YouTubers, but in a lighthearted and funny way most of the time. In the beginning, I did enjoy his podcast, but as things progressed, I just really haven't been a fan of the way he has been handling not only criticism, but just his attitude in general. He went from this underdog type of YouTuber who everybody wanted to support, especially through this copyright lawsuit he had a few years ago, to becoming somebody who is so out of touch with reality and out of touch with his own presence online. And it's really hard and very sad to watch this person who used to be so well respected just going down this path of just being a crappier and crappier YouTuber. And that sounds harsh. Listen, I'm I'm not trying to compare him to some of the other awful people I've covered on this channel. I'm not saying he's as bad as people who have been like hurting others physically. We cover a lot of dark things on my channel, and I'm not at all trying to compare him to things that are that bad. I just have been really annoyed with the way things have been going. I was never really a fan of the Frenemies podcast. The only thing I like that came out of that are their hoodies, but I wouldn't really buy it because it says Frenemies on it, but I just love the black and pink like combination. I think that's super cute. I think their aesthetic was really nice, but anything else involving that podcast I think was a disaster, and it was a disaster waiting to happen from the first episode. There are a lot of things that I just really am not comfortable watching when it comes to Ethan at this point. I think when it comes to the Trisha Paytas stuff, I'm gonna talk minimally about this because I really don't like either one of them at this point. There's a lot to criticize with both of them and a lot to discuss in a much bigger conversation than what I'm having here. I think at this point, everything going on with this wedding that Trisha had with Moses, I think they have like some sort of Reddit page where people are just ripping on Trisha, saying things like happy birthday Hila because it was on her birthday or fell around her birthday. Maybe it's because I too am engaged and I'm in the process of planning a wedding, and I just think of like going through a wedding itself is already very stressful and going through so much during that time. And listen, I completely understand all of the criticisms that a lot of people have for Trisha, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about. There are so many things in the past couple months alone that you can criticize Trisha for. And I do agree that it shouldn't matter if Ethan and Trisha are family or not. He should still be able to criticize them for these types of things if he decides to. And it should be fair in the fact that Trisha is a public figure, and there have been countless different times where other people have begged Trisha to please stop talking about them, please stop stirring up drama around them. I mean, the first person I think about is Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio, and Charlie, I believe, was like 16 at the time, and Trisha would relentlessly harass them over on TikTok. And now Trisha is on the receiving end of exactly what they used to do to others, and I by no means feel bad about that. Listen, I'm obviously all for speaking your mind on subjects and calling people out if you have some sort of issue with whatever it is that they're doing, but Trisha and Ethan would take this to an entirely different level, and even though Trisha has cut back on this, Ethan is still going. But the issue that I see with Ethan specifically is that, yes, it's okay to give people you consider family the same type of treatment that you would give them if they weren't in a situation like this, but I would argue that Trisha isn't being treated the same as any other person he would normally criticize, because when it comes to Ethan, if he has personal beef with somebody, he keeps going and going and going, and he doesn't stop. And that's one of the reasons why I've stopped watching him to begin with. If Trisha has done something that has bothered Ethan, I do think he should be able to talk about it, but I think the way in which he's gone about it over the past few days has been really unnecessary. It all feels a little too personal, which I totally understand considering the entire situation, but something about this just feels like it shouldn't be aired out online and maybe should be handled privately at this point, because it seems like it's going way farther than him criticizing an online public figure. And Trisha isn't innocent of this either by any means, but I think the timing here is really wrong. I'll be honest, I'm really not sure what's going on with this, I believe his name's Ryan Kavanaugh? I'm sorry. I haven't been really keeping up on much of the H3 stuff, only bits and pieces. I know he's going through, I think, like a lawsuit with him or something. If I'm not correct on that, forgive me. I am not fully educated on the entire situation. I saw a screenshot of a tweet where Ethan was talking about how this guy was going after his sponsors, and he was complaining about it when last year he started this huge thing on YouTube and kind of this trend of people attacking each other's sponsors, which you don't have to like Keemstar, you don't have to like Ethan, you can like both of them or dislike both of them, no matter what the situation is. I think that was pretty low. The only time I think that it's appropriate to be targeting people's sponsors online is when they're doing something genuinely harmful, or if they've done something so up that have put others at harm. Does that make sense? But when it comes to internet drama, or if somebody said something 5, 10, or 15 years ago, I don't think that that should be in the same category as people who are being dangerous to their audience. I don't think that you should be slinging sponsorship threats against other YouTube creators just because you have a personal beef with them. I don't know. I think my two biggest issues that I have right now are genuine hypocrisy on a maximized level level when it comes to Ethan, as well as just being highly distasteful and taking his personal grievances with other creators so far and so much farther than they need to go. Is that really a bad take? I don't know. Hey there, TehMimi from the future here. I know this past week there's been even more going on with Ethan, with him getting a strike on his YouTube channel and some weird stuff going on Twitter. I was planning to have this video up over a week ago, so at the time that I was making this video it hadn't happened yet, but I figured I'd just add a little insert here on it. From my understanding, the reason why he received a strike on his H3H3 podcast was due to reacting to a video clip of something that was deemed too inappropriate for YouTube. Meanwhile, the original video itself was still on YouTube. Something similar happened with Moist Critical last year, where they gave him a strike on an old video where he reacted to a skit, and the skit itself was still up and running on the website. Despite my feelings for Ethan that I express in this video, I think that it's definitely an error on YouTube's behalf. They need to do a better job at reviewing content like this because this happens way more than it should. And as for the stuff going on Twitter, I think everything is still developing and I'm really not 100% sure on what's going on, but I do know that he posted this. A lot of people are really upset about it. If you would like for me to do a full video on H3H3 in the future, I'll look more into this and include my thoughts on that at a later time. The last thing I want to talk about is absolutely ridiculous, and unfortunately I have to do a voiceover for some of this, but I just need to read this article to you. There is somebody online who has made $50,000 or 70,000 Australian dollars selling farts in jars. I am so upset that I did not think of this sooner. Listen, I have lactose intolerance. I could make a killing doing this, but I respect the game. I really do, but we gotta get into this because the article itself, after reading it, just some of it makes me laugh, and I'm sorry, I can't hold it in for this. A reality TV star is making waves on social media after letting it rip that she makes more than $50,000 per week by selling her flatulence to strangers. A video detailing her smelly side hustle currently boasts a whopping 6.6 million views. I thought farts were super niche, but also something fun, quirky, and different. Stephanie Matto told BuzzFeed of the particular pastime. Matto first gained international recognition after appearing on the reality TV show 90 Day Fiancé and has since started her own YouTube channel, written books, and even founded her own X-rated subscription site called Unfiltered. Working on my own adult-friendly platform these past few months has made me very aware of the different types of niches and markets that are out there, Matto explained. Over the years, I've gotten a few messages from men and women wanting to buy my worn bras, panty, hair, bathwater, etc. The influencer eventually tried selling her jarred farts on the platform because she thought it would be a hilarious publicity move that would get a lot of people's attention. Oh, is she right? Little did Matto know she would turn flatulent. It's not the situation, it's the way that this is written. Little did Matto know she would turn flatulence into fortune. In a recent video with nearly 20,000 views, the gassy gal explains that she made almost $50,000 in 1 week from hawking her tooth. God fucking damn it. From hawking her toots. In addition, Matto says her Unfiltered inbox is flooded daily with people wanting to purchase jars, and that people frequently request videos of the production process from caboose to container. The natural gas manufacturer obliged in a recent clip, which depicts how Matto prepares to break wind by eating beans, a protein muffin, a yogurt, hard-boiled eggs, and sometimes a protein shake. The apparently ideal menu for gastrointestinal pyrotechnics. Then, in a seemingly counterintuitive twist, the cheese cutter fills the mason jar with several flower petals, which she says absorbs the scent and makes it last longer. To her followers' undoubted dismay, Matto doesn't actually show herself farting into a jar. The entrepreneur allegedly sold the batch depicted in the video for the heavily discounted price of $1,000 per jar, which came with a personalized note from Matto. I want to thank so much the 97 people who have already purchased the jar of farts, said the human, but come on, Come on, New York Post. Every sentence doesn't have to be a fart meme. Naturally, one would assume selling once. Okay, I'm done. I can't. Okay, you know what? First of all, I have so many thoughts. Does anybody watch King of the Hill, or has anybody watched that show when it aired? It reminds me of that one episode where Bobby Hill is doing this really, really nasty job. I forget what exactly it is. And the guy who is kind of like mentoring him is basically saying, you know, do jobs that nobody else wants to do because you'll get paid well. And even if you get like made fun of it or whatever, you're still gonna make bank. And then I think like Hank Hill, Bobby Hill's dad, was like flustered and ashamed that Bobby was doing this and tried to encourage him not to do it. But that's what this kind of reminds me of. This is like the most inspiring thing. I am so glad that this exists and that this is where the internet is going. Truly, I'm not being sarcastic. This is hilarious to me. I know that the first thing that many will think of is that people are probably doing it for like some sort of fetish or something. And I'm sure like most people probably are, or some of them at least, but I would purchase this and then leave it on the doorstep of my worst enemy. Or you know what, even better, like this is the gift you get for that like one really annoying aunt in your family that like you can't stand, or that neighbor who you can't stand. This is the perfect gift to get them. Merry Christmas, here's a jar fart with rose petals. When it comes to stuff like this, I am a child. I think that this is amazing overall, and I think, you know what, honestly, like, I don't blame this girl for a second. Move over, Belle Delphine, because we have a new market in town. I think maybe in the future I will consider selling bath water that I farted in, and then I will call it bubble bath. No, but for real, as hilarious as it is, I also think that it's awesome that a young woman is an entrepreneur making lots of money doing something that nobody else thought to do. And even if that thing is hilarious or just ridiculous, people will still buy it. And you know what? Good for her. And that's amazing. And honestly, I think this would be the best gift to give to somebody you can't fucking stand. Honestly, I know that this market is probably for a different type of audience, but yeah, if I ever became a millionaire and anybody who I couldn't stand would expect some sort of Christmas gift from me at a higher value because of the money I make, oh god, I would send them like 3 of these jars. And lastly, before we go, I do want to give some channel updates here. Hopefully, this is the last video you see with this microphone here. I kind of wanted to give it its moment. I have gotten a new mic setup, and it's going to take me a little bit to put together, so I may actually end up using this until January. We will see how that goes. I bought myself a new computer, just specifically for editing, and everybody who has been supporting me on Patreon has actually contributed to that, and I'm so excited to get started with it. It's going to take me a little bit to get used to because I've been using a Windows PC for my entire life. But I'm really excited, and I could not do it without everybody supporting me on Patreon and you guys watching my videos and leaving comments and likes and stuff, because that actually does genuinely help with the algorithm. And everything this year has been all because of you guys, and I really appreciate it. And with that being said, thank you so much to everybody who has been supporting me over on Patreon. Thank you so much to Lewis, Miss Tanisha, Tressa, Anthony, and Michelle especially. You guys are amazing, and I think I'm gonna end that here for now. With that being said, I will see you later.